The easiest thing to do as a trader is trade execution. That means click on either to buy or to sell. And the most difficult thing to do as a trader is your ability to have a valid reason why you want to sell or you want to buy. Many people become victims of financial loss as a result of inadequate decision making, which means they lack enough reason for either to sell or to buy. Remember, when you don't have a good reasons to buy, a good reasons to sell, you will definitely lose money. So at every point of the market, it is important you ask yourself this question: why do I want to sell now? Why do I want to buy now? If you can be able to answer this question correctly and convincingly, that is the beginning of you being profitable as a trader. In this lesson, I'll be sharing with you exactly some major questions you need to ask yourself as a trader, reasons behind your trade, and why you must execute a trade at every point of the market. This is a live trade scenario, and I'll be sharing with you reasons why I have to be in this trade. But before then, let's go and look at a template of some reasons why you should be in a trade. So if I must be in a trade, I will need to consider what the trend of the market is. So you must be able to identify the trend of the market. Come to a point where you can define either it is a uptrend or a downtrend. That is the first reason you need to identify. Determine your trend. Regardless of your trading strategy, there is no second thought about trend. It is either in an uptrend or a downtrend, or it is a ranging market. So the trend is very much important. And if you are a technical indicator trader, it means that when you consider your trend, you need to consider zones such as your trend line, which you are seeing here. This is a typical trend line which we use to connect zones. Then you need to think of where are your support and resistance zone. So this becomes your point of interest after determining your trend. So if you are in your uptrend, your first point of interest can be a trend line. Another point of interest can be a support and a resistance zone. And you can as well have a confluence. A confluence is where price fall at a support or resistance zone, and this support and resistance zone coincide with your trend line, such as what we are having in this price behavior. Then the other confirmation is for you to have a bullish candle. This bullish candle is what indicates to you the presence of a buyer, or a bearish candle in a downtrend, and this indicates to you the presence of a seller, giving you decision of buy now or sell now. So let's go back to our chart as I show you all of this in a very detailed form. So looking at this chart, the first question is, why am I in this trade? Now I just make an entry into this trade because I am in a downtrend. The question is, how do I know I am in a downtrend? So you now see that you have to answer these questions. First, what is the trend of the market? You can see that with our indicator, it helps us to identify our structural point, and we have established that previously. So there is no need to struggle with that. This is a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and a higher high. So price came down and break this point. So here we have a break of structure. Now that we have a break of structure, basically we now know that this is a downtrend. So we have our point of resistance. So what do we do if you are in a downtrend? You either mark your point of resistance, which double as your order block. So here, this is my point of resistance, and this resistance is as well as my order block. Here is another point of support for me, which also double as my breakers block. So this point of support is my breakers block. It also double as my smart money cube. If I'm a smart money trader, it double as my smart money cube. And then look at this point, I am having an imbalance. So I can choose to mark this zone 2 as an imbalance. So I am combining all of this together so that it can fit into your trading pattern. If you are a smart money trader, you understand what imbalance is. You understand what smart money cube is. As a smart money trader, you know all of this. So here I have order block, right? Here I have breakers block. Here I have a fair value gap, right? So all of these are point of interest. And if I am to trade this as a price action trader, here is my resistance zone. Here is my support level. So that is exactly how I'll be doing that. Now as a technical indicator trader, I've determined my trend. Or as a smart money trader, I've already determined my trend. I've marked out my point of interest, support, resistance, a trend line. So in this case, I can connect this as my trend line because I already have point A here and I am having somewhat of point B at this zone. Alright, so what is the next question I will need to ask myself? I now mark my point of interest. I now know that this is a downtrend. I am seeing a massive bearish candle movement. The next question, how do I execute my trade? Why do I have to make this trade? Now that I have all of these other factors being considered, the next thing is I've already established the trend of the market. So now the decision now is I know the trend. I have point of interest. In this case, this is a typical a bearish flag pattern formation. So I understand chart pattern too, which can be my reason for trade entry. And here, this is a bearish flag pattern. So you can see this flag pattern. This is a continuation trade in a sell market direction. So what do? I have identified this pattern. I have seen this pattern correctly. So I will now want to do what? Want to sell. So my final decision is I will need to see a presence of a seller. I want to know that seller is in charge. So I want to see a candle. So and if you look at this carefully, I now had a behavior that sellers are in control. This candle was bullish and then this rejection and then price closed as a bearish hammer. You can see this inverted hammer here breaking out of this flag pattern and then followed by this particular one. So obviously with this I can say this is a breakout of the pattern, this is a retest of it, and price is now pulling down to the downside. So you can now see that I have to bring all of these factors together in order for me to make a good trading decision. This is been 500, and if you look at this carefully, initially it was in an uptrend and you can see that is a higher low, this is a higher high, right? So now here we have a break of structure. So I'm trading this as a price action trader, and look at these zones. Here we have what? We have our support and resistance zone. Here is our breakers block. Now as a smart money trader, this is my breakers block. As a price action trader, this is my support and resistance zone. So I'll be doing what? I'll be making my entry. So what do I want to see? You can come to 15-minute time frame and get a trade entry confirmation. These are my strong reasons, and as you can see on this time frame, this is a bearish engulfing candle pattern. You can see that this bearish engulfing candle becomes my entry confirmation. I saw this late and that is why I made this entry at this point. So this is exactly how I will have these valid reasons from making my trade entry. I believe you have learned something new, and please do not forget to give this video a like, share, subscribe, turn on your notification bell so you'll be the first to get notified when we upload our next video. I would like to hear from you. Comment in the comment section your questions and I'll be there to answer you.